In 1973, a retired postman in Worcestershire named Gerald Higgins bought a Qualcast Suffolk Punch petrol lawnmower. He used it every Saturday from March through October for 28 years without replacing a single internal component beyond the spark plug and the blade. His son inherited it. His son still uses it today. Last month we heard from a homeowner in Cheshire. He spent £420 on a brand new mower. By the second year it was already failing under load. By the third year it would not start. The repair quote came back at £260 on a machine that cost £420. He did not repair it. He replaced it. He bought a new one. If you are about to spend £300 to £600 on a new petrol lawnmower this spring, or you bought one in the last 3 years and it is already giving you trouble, this video could save you from making the same mistake twice. Today I am going to show you exactly what manufacturers changed inside your mower to make it fail faster. The brands that small engine repairers across Britain say to avoid, and the one buying rule that will protect you from ever replacing a mower again before you are ready to. Let us start with how we got here. For most of the 20th century, the small petrol engines fitted to British lawn mowers were built around a simple principle. They needed to start reliably in a cold, damp garage in April after sitting unused since October, and they needed to do it for 20 years without major intervention. The engines that Qualcast, Atco, and Webb fitted to their machines from the 1950s through the 1990s were designed with that specific punishment in mind. Thick cylinder walls, simple carburetors with large accessible jets, rubber seals that tolerated prolonged storage without deteriorating, parts that any independent repairer in any market town could source and fit. Appliance researchers who track engine lifespans across decades have documented average working lives of 25 to 30 years for petrol mowers from that era. Then, starting in the early 2000s, 3 decisions arrived in sequence and broke everything. Here is what actually happened to the machine. The first villain is a piece of European legislation called the Non-Road Mobile Machinery Directive, Stage 2, which came into force in 2007 and required a significant reduction in exhaust emissions from small petrol engines. Britain adopted it in full before Brexit. The post-Brexit regulations maintained the same technical thresholds. To meet the new limits, manufacturers had to lean out the fuel mixture inside the carburetor. Less petrol, more air. A richer mixture burns slightly dirtier but runs cooler, and leaves a thin film of combustion residue on the cylinder walls that acts as a supplemental lubricant. The leaner mixture burns cleaner, but runs hotter, and it does not leave that film. Small air-cooled engines have no radiator, no liquid cooling circuit, and no thermal buffer. The heat that a richer mixture would have dissipated now stays in the bore. The piston rings start running dry against the cylinder walls. The walls score. Compression drops. A small engine with falling compression will not start in cold weather, will surge under load, and will eventually seize. Every major manufacturer knew this consequence before the regulations came into force. Rather than redesign the engine block to tolerate leaner combustion, they adjusted only what the regulation measured and shipped the same architecture with a different fuel map. The second villain arrived at every filling station in Britain in September 2021. That was the month A10 fuel became the standard petrol grade at nearly every forecourt in England, Scotland, and Wales. E10 is petrol blended with 10% ethanol. The stated purpose was a reduction in carbon emissions from road transport. The effect on garden machinery was immediate and severe, and the industry knew it was coming. Ethanol is hygroscopic. It absorbs moisture from the surrounding air. In a car engine used daily, this is not a meaningful problem. The fuel is consumed fast enough that moisture absorption never reaches dangerous levels. In a lawnmower sitting in a garden shed from October to the following April, it is catastrophic. Over 6 months of storage, the ethanol in the carburetor float bowl draws moisture out of the air inside the tank. The fuel separates. Water and ethanol sink. Petrol floats above them. When you pull the starter cord in spring, the first thing to reach the engine is not petrol. It is an ethanol-water mixture that will not ignite, will not lubricate, and will corrode the soft alloy components inside the carburetor on contact. The main jet, a brass fitting with a passage roughly the diameter of a human hair, blocks. The needle valve, a component that costs 4 pence to manufacture, swells if it contains rubber compounds not rated for ethanol exposure. Neither of these components is sold separately any longer by the major manufacturers. A full carburetor assembly replacement for a mid-range Briggs & Stratton or Honda consumer engine now costs between £40 and £90. Labour at most small engine repair shops in Britain runs between £60 and £90 per hour. The mower you paid £400 for requires £150 of work by year 3, and the parts it actually needs are either discontinued or sold only as assemblies that cost more than the repair is worth. The third villain is the one nobody talks about, and it is the most deliberate of the three. For most of the 20th century, petrol garden machinery in Britain was supported by a dense network of independent dealers. Small engine specialists in every town stocked parts, trained mechanics, and could keep a machine running for decades. Starting in the early 2000s, the major engine manufacturers began consolidating parts distribution through approved dealer networks and reducing the service parts catalogue available to independent repairers. By 2015, the number of independent small engine repair specialists operating in England had fallen by over 40% compared to the year 2000. The parts catalogue for a current consumer-grade Briggs & Stratton engine lists fewer individually serviceable components than the catalogue for the equivalent engine built in 1988. If your mower fails outside warranty and the independent repairer finds a cracked primer bulb housing or a failed governor spring, the manufacturer may no longer list it as a replaceable component. What you will be offered instead is a new short block, the core engine assembly, costing more than most mowers are worth. There is a sentence that has become standard across the small engine repair trade in Britain. You have probably heard it. Not economical to repair. That sentence is not a mechanical verdict. It is the end result of 3 deliberate design decisions working together to ensure that fixing the machine you own costs more than buying the next one. Quick question. How long did your last mower last before it started failing? 3 years? 5? Let me know below. I am betting most of you say somewhere between 3 and 6 years. So what can you actually buy if you want a machine that runs for 2 decades? Here are the options that small engine repairers across Britain consistently recommend, and why. Number 3 is the Honda GX commercial engine range, not the GCV series sold through garden centres and B&Q. The GX range is built to commercial duty cycles, uses a cast iron cylinder liner rather than an aluminium bore, and carries a parts availability program extending 15 years from manufacture. Mowers built on a GX 160 or a GX 200 engine cost between £350 and £550. They will outlast 3 budget machines. Number 2 is Briggs & Stratton Professional Series or Vanguard engines, the company's commercial tier, built to a different internal specification than the consumer engines sold through mass retail. These are sold through professional ground scare dealers rather than garden centres. Number 1. The recommendation that comes up most often from independent repairers across the country is to leave petrol behind entirely. A modern lithium battery mower has no carburetor to corrode, No ethanol to sit in a float bowl through winter, no jets to block, no primer bulb to crack, and no spark plug to foul. The motor is a sealed, brushless unit with effectively no wear items for the first decade of ownership. For any garden under 500 square meters, the current 40-volt and 80-volt platforms from Ego, Husqvarna, and Greenworks provide cutting performance comparable to a petrol machine without a single one of the failure modes this video has covered. When the battery eventually degrades after 700 to 1,000 charge cycles, it is a replaceable component, not a reason to buy a new machine. Here is the rule. Check the engine tier. Check the fuel system. If it is a cheap carburetor engine with a short warranty, it is not built to last. If it cannot handle modern fuel, it is already failing. If the mower is fitted with a consumer-grade carburetor engine and comes with a 2-year warranty, the manufacturer is telling you exactly how long they expect it to work. If the fuel system is not rated for E10 storage, you are buying a machine with a 6-month clock running every winter. That is it. If this saved you a few £100s, the problem with modern strimmers is even worse, and almost nobody is talking about it. That is next.